I don't think you want to know. But there's a lot of people there with single-dollar bills.
I know it. I just can't say it.
Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, Brian Kelly responds to Dabo Sweeney. Mike Gundy goes after Oregon, and Framber Valdez apologizes for somehow drilling his own catcher. But we begin today with the U.S. Open and last night's quarterfinal, where Novak Djokovic beat American Taylor Fritz in 4 sets. Djokovic razzed the New York crowd for cheering for Fritz. Djokovic is now in the semifinals of a major for a 53rd time, the most of any player in the Open era, and this is his 14th time in the semis at the Open. Wilbon, what did this match say to you about Djokovic and Fritz?
Nothing that we didn't already know, Tony, and I watched it. I watched it with interest, and I liked it when Fritz got a set and forced it to 4 and all of that. But Djokovic, I know you don't really want to hear this or agree with it. Djokovic is likely the GOAT. I mean, Nadal and Federer have gone into the late night in terms of career.
That's
right. And Djokovic is still out there at 38 years old or whatever he is, being his sports version of Tom Brady and LeBron. He's great, and he's better than Fritz. That's the deal.
Yeah.
This is like running up if you were, I shouldn't use Stockton and Malone and Ewing and Charles, but I will, running up against Michael Jordan and you couldn't beat him. And it didn't mean you weren't really, really, really damn good. You couldn't beat this dude. That is what we've got with Djokovic. And we could, look, he's probably not going to win the U.S. Open, but he could. He's 38, he's still in there.
So let me just dismiss one thing you said right away and be on the other side of that. He's not the GOAT to me. He's not the GOAT to me.
I know he's not the GOAT to you.
This was a foregone conclusion because Djokovic always beats Fritz. And when I say always, I mean always.
Undefeated.
11-0 lifetime. That's always. So you could tell right away. I watched the match too. Djokovic went out 3-love. So he broke Fritz the first time Fritz was able to serve. He broke him right away. He won the first 2 sets, so that when Fritz won the 3rd set, it didn't really say to you, oh, he's serious in this match. And if you're looking for any sort of symbolism, Fritz double faulted on match point, I believe. Now, again, I'm going to agree with you. Fritz is a very good player. Djokovic is a great player. Don't tell me about the seedings. They are meaningless. He always beats Fritz. And again, let's repeat this. This is the 53rd time he's in the semis at a major, which is the most of anybody ever. I mean, so the question, the looming question now, and you alluded to it, is how far does he go? Can he beat Alcaraz in the semis? Well, he's 3-0 against Alcaraz on hard court. Lifetime is hard court. That's what this is. I know Alcaraz has not dropped a set, but Djokovic has personal history that he can lean on in a match like that. Going further, do I think he can beat both Alcaraz and Sinner if it comes to that back-to-back? No. And no, I don't. And it's because that he's 38. Didn't your boy Shaq, he may not have used the number 38, but he used 39. A close number when he said 38, 28, bro.
That's right.
So, yeah, I don't think he makes that double. That doesn't mean that he's not one of the greatest players anybody has ever seen.
I can't let this topic go without having you tell our dear viewers who you think is the GOAT. If it's not Joker, and I don't think you're going to put Federer or Nadal ahead of him, who you got as the GOAT?
No, I'm going all the way back to Laver because of what I saw, but I'm old enough to have seen Rod Laver, and you can come back to me and say that the competition wasn't as good, and no, it wasn't as good, and they didn't hit it as hard, and the rackets weren't the same, but in his era,
he was great.
His domination was the best. Okay,
I'm old enough for that too. Let's move to some college football squabbling, beef, we call it, in the wake of LSU's Week 1 win over Clemson. Clemson head coach Dabo Sweeney graded his team as a 58 out of 100 and LSU's as a 65, adding that, quote, neither one of us was great, close quote, to which LSU coach Brian Kelly responded, quote, I thought we dominated them in the second half, so he's either a really good grader for giving himself a 58, or he's a really hard grader on us, close quote. Tony, is Kelly right? Is Dabo right? Is anybody right?
Okay, so let's just hold on a second and examine this. Dabo Sweeney gave his team a 58. That's an F grade, a 58. And somehow Brian Kelly thinks he's being good to his team. Brian Kelly, and I want to get this right, I'm pretty sure at some point he said, did he see the second half?
Yeah,
did he even see it?
I like
Kelly
that.
Because Kelly is so convinced at how good LSU was in the second half. Mike, Brian Kelly is killing Dabo Swinney here. That's what he's doing. He just beat him by 7 points, and he is killing him. Dabo Swinney has won 2 national championships. Brian Kelly has won, last time I looked, 0 national championships, and he's killing this guy. I mean, what is next? A steel cage death match for these two? I want to remind people that Brian Kelly left Notre Dame to go to LSU to win a national championship. He said that specifically and said it, that it would be easier to win at LSU than Notre Dame. He said it with a Southern accent. He's been there 3 full now. This is his 4th year. He has not made the playoffs. This was the first time he even won his opening game. And I will repeat, he's killing this guy. He's killing Swinney.
One of the things you should never really ever do is pay much attention or put any real stock in anything a college football coach says. Unless it's like Lou Holtz and he was being so funny. Remember when Lou Holtz was like a pre-dinner speaker like 50 years ago and
Yes.
Lou Holtz was funny? I mean, make you laugh. Other than that, stop quoting college football coaches because they're going to say things that infuriate you. They say things full of agenda. This is agenda on both their parts. It's okay if all you're going to be is entertained, which is what you and I are by this to some mild degree. I'm not paying attention to their grades. I don't want them grading me or anything I'm associated with. I don't want grades posted by their institutions particularly. So I just look at this and say, you know what? Let them just keep babbling. We're going to go on to another topic shortly.
I will say this, though, and that's fine. I will say this, though. It is ridiculous to give LSU a grade of 65, which is a D grade. They just went on the road.
Yeah.
They beat your team 14-0 in the second half on the road. So you got to give them at least a C. You got to give them at least a 70 or a 75. But again, the larger story here is that Brian Kelly is specifically killing Dabo Swinney. We move now to baseball, where last night Houston pitcher Framber Valdez was apparently livid with his catcher Cesar Salazar. Yankees had the bases loaded. Salazar wanted Valdez not to pitch. Valdez ignored that and threw a pitch that Trent Grisham hit for a grand slam. And then on the second pitch to the next Yankee batter, Valdez seemed to deliberately throw a pitch his catcher was not expecting, hitting him in the chest. Valdez turned his back on the catcher without inquiry. After the game, both Valdez and Salazar insisted the cross-up was not intentional. Oh, Wilbon, what did you see?
Tony, I'm confused because I don't believe the explanations. I've played enough baseball and covered enough baseball to have some sense of the miscommunication that occasionally happens between pitcher and catcher. Even in these days when you're not putting down finger signals as they did for the first 150 years of Major League Baseball. Catchers get crossed up. Pitchers, either can't control the pitch, or they change their minds, or they throw something they shouldn't have thrown, or the signals, either newfangled or old-fashioned, get crossed. And catchers lunge. The ball tips and goes somewhere else and it looks like a pass ball. But this was not a breaking pitch. And usually when there's some kind of cross-up like that, a breaking pitch is involved. It wasn't.